Attention, everybody. The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. So without any further ado, here's the man with the plan to put gold in your hand, Mr. Tony Hammock.
Good morning, everybody out there in Acts Ministry viewing land. It is a fantastic morning here in Springfield, Missouri. If you're in southwestern Missouri, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, it is gorgeous. Yesterday, I think it was 72-ish, and I think today it's supposed to be 85, and then tomorrow it's like 58. So we'll have a little storm going on somewhere in the day or the evening, you know, to kind of make that temperature change.
See, that's the problem. You know, with the weather being like this, the COVID-19 came at a really bad time because now people are going to catch colds, and there's going to be another influx of people in the hospital thinking they've got COVID-19.
Well, in a way, you're right.
Scary.
But I got to tell you, if this had hit in the dead of winter, it would have been really depressing. I mean, the only thing that's probably keeping me going is I can get out and walk.
The sun shining helped out a lot.
Yeah.
For the first 2 weeks of this craziness, it was just rainy and dreary and cold the whole time.
Yeah.
So when the sun finally came out, and I was able to like do some mowing and enjoy it. It was like a weight lifted.
What's funny in our neighborhood is I'm seeing people walk by the house that I've never seen before. Now there's the regulars, you know. I mean, they walk no matter what was going on. I mean, there'd be 6 inches of snow on the ground, and they'd be walking. And but I mean, now I'm just seeing all kinds of people. It's like, okay. I mean, I guess it's better than sitting at home and everything. But we even took a walk the other day. In fact, my wife has a friend that runs marathons, and over the weekend, he ran some kind of a marathon where he had to run in his neighborhood like a certain portion each hour. So she was telling me that Saturday afternoon as she was looking on Facebook, you know, and telling me about it and stuff. So after dinner, I walked around the block once, and I came in and I said, "Okay, you Facebook, you tell him. He's got nothing on me. I walked around the block once." Anyway.
That's good stuff.
Well, hey, we're here to talk about alternative assets, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, just to name a few. It has been a wild and crazy week since we got together last. If you like to follow those kinds of things, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, we've had some swings in all markets that are just incredible. Some are precedent-setting, never seen before type stuff. And I know in the gold and silver market, we've got an interesting thing happening where there's a lot of disparity now between the spot price and the futures price. So what you'll find in precious metals is there's the spot price, which is kind of the price most people go off of. That's the price that the mines charge the mints. And then you've got the futures price, and that's all the guys in the markets that are, you know, thinking, okay, let's look at gold futures for June or July, and what do we think they're going to be? And then they do these puts and calls and all this kind of stuff. And then you've got the paper price, because there's still, you know, in our industry, there's still just a ton of gold ETFs and different insurance products that have gold options and stuff. So there's a lot of gold that is owned through paper. And it's just, with everything that's been going on, there's just created this little bit of a disparity. You can check, like on any place that's used as a spot price. Like right now, gold is 1650.90 spot, and let me see what the futures are real quick. Of course, watch, they'll be exactly the same. And see, gold futures, it's 1693.30. So you've got about a $43 difference between the two, which prior to this whole COVID-19 thing and the volatility it's created in the markets, you wouldn't have seen. I mean, it just usually was tracking in lockstep with one another and everything. But anyway, on today's show, we got a couple good things going on. I'm going to do the stewardship course here in a second. We'll do an update on all the precious metals and base metals. We'll get into a couple stories I wanted to share with you. And then I've got something real exciting, at least for me. I got gold coin in the mail yesterday. I've been looking forward to getting this one. Up till now, I've just been getting silver, but I'll share that with you here in a little bit.
Like it's a full-on gold coin.
Yeah, it's a gold coin.
Is it tiny?
This one's tiny.
Okay.
It's 1/10 of an ounce.
Ah.
But if an ounce is 16.50.90 spot, divide that by 10. What's that telling you? Coin's worth about 165, 66 bucks on spot.
So, well, and we have an armed guard downstairs that'll watch you go to your car. So if you're thinking about coming up here and taking his gold coin, think again.
Well,
Anyway.
I've got you here, so I know you'll protect me.
And yes, I am armed as well.
I know you are. Yeah, you've got the guitar right over there.
Yep. Yeah. That's my weapon against the devil.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I consider that my weapon.
Where's
that
the
I use
white
against- It's at my house.
So that's the electric one. This is the acoustic.
Yeah, the white one is a Gretsch. It's a hollow body electric,
Oh, wow.
and it plays very nicely.
Well, if you've never heard Matt play or sing, you're missing something. I didn't realize this when I first met him. He has a wonderful voice, and he's very talented on the strings. And one of these days, maybe we can get him to play something on this show. But if you can, you might. If he's playing someplace, you want to catch his act. But anyway, let's get into the. Before I forget, and then next week, I'm going to have a guest. And she has told me she'll be here in the studio with us. And she's going to talk about the mental aspects of how to deal with what's going on. Because as some of you have already found or are finding out, a lot of how to deal with this world right now is mental. You know, you've got to have a grip on reality. You've got to know how to deal with things. Like yesterday, I ran into Hy-Vee to get a couple items. I mean, usually that's kind of a fun experience. And, you know, I parked on
I'm supposed to mention any names.
Oh, it wasn't Hy-Vee. It was ABC. Anyway.
It was Low Y. That's what we'll call it. Low Y.
There we go. And I parked on the east side of the building. And as I approached the entrances, they had them all blocked off except the one on the extreme west side of the building.
Extreme.
And then the lady wouldn't let me come in from the east. I had to walk all the way around some barrier to then just come back around and come in.
They're
from
doing that everywhere.
Yeah. And I guess they were monitoring how many people were in the store at a time. And then once you got in the store, there were arrows on the floor telling you if you were in the right lane, if you're going this way or that way. And, you know, it was just a different experience. And so I was glad to check out and get home. And it was just interesting. But the way I dealt with that was from a mental aspect of just having some acceptance. Excuse me. And, you know, trying to keep myself from being on the ledge as far as what I wanted to do, which was scream that this was crazy. So anyway, with that, let me find my stewardship course and see if we can get that going here. I think we're on course 7, if I remember correctly, or chapter 7 of this course. There we go. Money and stewardship. Okay, let me just look at 6 real quick. Yeah, so we are on 7 this week, which means we only have 5 after this. You know, actually, I think we did this one last week. I apologize. We're on 8. Oh, okay.
I can't count that high.
Yeah, well, the last one looked like it was the one we did. It sounded familiar. Okay, this one is titled, Being a Vessel to Bless Others. One of the reasons God entrusts money to us is to bless other Christians by meeting their needs. God uses the transfer of money within the body of Christ to build unity among Christians. Sometimes we withhold money that God has designated for someone else. He wants to bless through us, but his will cannot be accomplished through us if we are disobedient. Excuse me. This was the case for a business owner who tells of the time when God told him to forego a company bonus one year. God directed him to share his year-end bonus with an employee to show his appreciation for him. He wrestled with God for 3 full days before obeying the Lord on the matter. When he finally met with the employee to give him his check, the man said he had been praying about a financial need he had 3 days earlier. He had decided to borrow the money to meet his need. The amount of the money he borrowed was the exact amount the business owner gave him. God had already planned to provide for the employee through the business owner, but because he was hesitant, he almost missed the opportunity to be an instrument of God in this man's life. Even so, he could have prevented the man from having to borrow money. It was an important lesson for the business owner. How many people do we let down because we feel the harvest of God provides is all ours? In America, the pressure is always on to move up the ladder of material accumulation. Jesus warned us about this. If our focus is on accumulation, we will not look for opportunities to be God's vessels, a financial blessing to others. Ask the Lord if you have an open hand when it comes to finances. Wow. That was a good one. And, of course, the first thing I thought of when I got into that one a little bit was the act of tithing. And we've talked about tithing over the last couple of years several times. And, you know, I've got different strategies employing all kinds of vehicles, insurance, investments. I mean, there's just all kinds of strategies and stuff, even things that can continue tithing after you're gone. And so that is a very powerful devotional. That was basically on Proverbs 11, 24, and 25. I don't know what your thoughts are about tithing and so forth, but if you do have some thoughts, you're always welcome to text Matt or Jason or email me at tony@thegoldaffiliate.com. Or you can give me a call, 417-755-0700. Love to hear your thoughts. I just know in my life that when I have been disciplined and have tithed, it's miraculous how things seem to be better. And then I, too, like some of the folks we read about in these devotionals, have moments where I hesitate, and those times sometimes are not my best memories. So keep that in mind as things happen. Excuse me. So with that, I want to get into some pricing so we can kind of look at what's going on in the markets. And I guess I should stress when I read these to you, these are spot prices, since there is a $50 discrepancy with futures. But this is these are the precious metals as of 9:15 this morning. Gold is $1,650.70. Silver is $15.06. Platinum is $742. Palladium is $2,243. And rhodium is now $5,750. And boy, if you've been tracking with me these last couple of months, rhodium has had they've all had quite an interesting run, but rhodium has had an interesting run because I know at one point at the turn of the year, I think it was like 12 or 13,000. And now it's down to 5,750. And the only thing I can think there is two things. One is something's happened in Africa about the mines, because I think that's why the price went up, is they had a water issue and had closed some of the mines for rhodium. And then also is, you know, the thing we talk about all the time, supply and demand. If you're pretty much supposed to stay home, you're not driving your car too much, and you're probably not really thinking about outlaying any money or anything for a new car. So if there's no demand for new cars, or not as much as there used to be, remember rhodium, as is the case with palladium and platinum a little bit, but rhodium is a big component of the catalytic converters, and that's where they use a lot of it. So all of a sudden, if you've seen the demand for new vehicles maybe go down, that might have something to do with it. I mean, let's put it this way. There's enough rhodium in some of those catalytic converters that every once in a while you'll find a story of some person who has been stealing them from the underside of cars. And usually they pick vans or trucks because they're a little higher up and stuff. But there are a lot of folks that have tried stealing them from cars, and of course then they have to take them someplace to try and cash in on the precious metals involved, and that's always interesting. But anyway, I know that there was a news story here a while back about some gentleman that got caught doing that. So don't do that. That's not a good idea. Now, these are the base metals. Copper is $2.25 a pound. The base metals, the prices I give are per pound. The precious metals are per ounce. And nickel is $5.16. Aluminum is 65 cents. Zinc is 86 cents. Lead is 77 cents. And uranium is up another 30 cents. It's up to $27.70. And I have to tell you, I mentioned it a couple times before, there's a lot of people that I follow and trust that are talking that uranium might be something to think about this year, or maybe actually buy some, because there's a couple of uranium mines that have recently been shut down. And and of course, we've talked about that several shows ago. You can buy uranium. You have to do a few things as far as paperwork with the government and so forth. But, if you go through the process and stuff, I don't know why you would, maybe unless you had some place to warehouse it or whatever. But still, there's people, maybe you could just keep it on inventory where you get it at and so forth. But right now it's $27.70. If anybody wants me to look into that more, I'd be happy to. Crude oil is actually making a little bit of a rebound. It's up $1.07 today. It's up to $24.70. And I could have sworn last week. Let me just see real quick. And it's not showing me on this little graph as quick as I'd like it to, but I could have sworn it got below 20 there one day. So anyway, $24.74 for crude oil. And so far this morning, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 167 points. It's now at 22,821. And remember, when we made the turn into this new year, I want to say it was over 29,000. So it's had quite a correction from all the different things that are out there. I guess what concerns me about the market is the volatility, yes, but the swings involved. I mean, we're getting to the point now where if it's a 5% swing, we just kind of go ho-hum, okay, it's 5%. I mean, we've had a few days in the last month that have been 9% or 11%. So, that tells me that there's just a lot of chaos, I guess you'd call it, as far as these big institutions and money managers and the way they make their decisions. A lot of them make decisions, plug it into the computer, and then, when certain things hit, that trade goes ahead and gets executed. And so if you've got 5, 9, 11% swings, unless they've priced those stops outside of those swings, they're gonna activate and just kind of compound whatever direction it's going. If it's going down, it's going to keep going down and so forth. So I don't know if that'll bring some changes in the way the market books trades and stuff or what, but I do know that is a little bit of a contributor as far as that goes and so forth. But anyway, that's the pricing for the day. That's the stewardship course for the day. And one of the things I told you about that I was really excited about, I think Matt wanted to be in here, but he's not. Excuse me. Last month I decided, okay, I've got enough silver. Let's see what the Coin of the Month Club has when it comes to gold. And I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit more expensive than the silver. And this is through that one company we've talked about a couple times, 7K Metals. But I switched it up, and so yesterday I got my first gold coin, and I'll show it to you here because it's kind of neat. As they always do, they kind of send it in this nice little package and stuff. But here is the, I don't know if you can see that or not. Matt's not in here to control the camera. Here is the gold coin I got yesterday. And yes, it is rather small. It's about the size of a dime. This represents 1/10 of an ounce of gold. So if the spot price on gold right now is $16.50, what does that tell you? That means that this is about $165. If the futures price is $1,700, then obviously based on the futures, it's more like $170. So it's somewhere probably between the two as far as, you know, if I needed to use it out on the street to buy something. It's actually kind of neat. I wish I could get a better view for you and stuff, but this is a 2020 Eagle MS-70, and the little card that comes with it, let me see what it says here. 2020 MS-70 Gold Eagle, 1/10 of an ounce coin. Gold America, perfect MS-70, 7K private label with the most renowned grading company around. Not much more needs to be said about this iconic coin and why we think you won with this continued purchase. Congratulations on taking another step towards securing your future and legacy. You deserve it. The year of issue is 2020. The mint is the U.S. Mint, United States. Coin weight is 1/10 of an ounce. Metal purity is 0.9167, and the metal composition is fine gold. So I got that, and then since we stepped up a little bit in price, as 7K does, I got a travel savings card, but this one was for $250 versus normally getting one for, I think it's like $125, somewhere in there. $125 or $150. But anyway, so if and when I start traveling again, I can cash this in for hotels and activities and rental cars, pretty much everything but airfare. And so obviously I'm going to hold on to it until I get a chance to travel somewhere in the future. The neat thing about the cards is they never go bad. Now, if you go ahead and register them on the 7K Getaway site, you've got 18 months to use them. So in this case, I'm just going to hang on to this one until I feel like we're going to start traveling again, and then I'll get it on this. I'll register on the 7K site, so we'll get that taken care of. And there is Matt. He came in at a pretty good time. I don't know if you want to do a word from our sponsor this early, or if you want to wait a little bit.
Well, we can do a word. Let me go ahead and back this up here. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us today and joining Tony on the New Gold Standard. If you're enjoying this program and the other ones that we have throughout the day, which is Monday through Friday, and usually we're done with our day around 10:30, 11 o'clock, we want to expand those hours of operation, and we want to expand the programming that we have available. More education, more entertainment, and of course, we want to spread the word around unity in Christ through the Holy Spirit. Now, the motto of Acts Ministry and Acts Media Group is doing the right thing and serving where needed, and unity in Christ through the Holy Spirit. So to do this, we want to partner with you. At least this way, you can see where your donations go. You can go on to axmediagroup.com and check out the stuff we have on there. We have the Real News Review. You can see what's coming up as far as events and things like that. Like in July, should everything go accordingly, we will have another Axe Fest, which is always fun. And then the banquet is always to die for. The food is great. Tony, you were there last year.
I was. It was good.
It was very delicious. As well, you can read the Real News Review. I think I already said that. You can see our past videos. You can see information about our autism awareness programs, our veterans programs, the Helping Hands Fund, which is a fund that we allocate portions of the donations given, unless it's specified to go elsewhere by the donator. They set that aside for people who need these natural supplements and things to survive, or their medications. This helps to offset the cost of that for people who are low income and just need help. So anyways, go online to axmediagroup.com, and as you're scrolling down through there, you'll see on your right a donate button. And it could be a one-time donation, or you could become a monthly partner with us where you give the same amount every month, same day every month, comes right out of your account, and you can set that up through PayPal and other things that we have there. So go online and check it out. We want to partner with you. So with that being said, back to you, Tony.
Thanks, Matt. So let's do this. One is, if you've already got 10, 15% or so of your portfolio in gold and silver, stay the course. I mean, that's why if you got it from information on this show or you had it from before, that's why you have it. Is right now, I think when we closed out the first quarter the other day, the market was down something like 23% for the year. So in 90 days, it had gone down 23%. Pardon me. And gold was up 4%. So much like '08, when the S&P 500 was down something like 38%, gold that year was up 5%. And, I know 4 and 5 don't sound like much, but I got to tell you, when the rest of your portfolio is down 38%, or so far this year 23%, that 4% looks pretty darn good. And there's times where gold's up more than single digits, but I mean, the point is it has a relationship with the market. It's what they call it's non-correlated, and so therefore the market can make its swings, and gold's kind of on its own little thing there. It's basically on supply and demand. And this year we've had a couple days where the market and gold went down the same day, which is odd. But what we found out as we investigated that was a lot of these large investors were getting margin calls. The market was going down so quickly that they owned some stock on margin, which means they borrowed money to buy it. And these margin calls are when the firm they did that with starts realizing, what the debt to equity ratio is. They start asking for more money to come in. And so oftentimes when that happens, they start selling just anything that's got an open bid, and gold and silver usually do. So anyway, not to get off in the weeds on you or something like that. The one thing I wanted to do, though, is if you don't have 10 or 15% in gold and silver, you might think about starting to do that. And I'm looking at the 7K store, and we don't have to go through 7K, but if you want to, I mean, by all means, do that. My store you can find at 7kmetals.com/Tony Hammock, all lowercase. And you might do that because I'm looking, as compared to last week, a lot of these things were sold out. But today it looks like they've had some replenishing that's gone on. And a lot of these items are in stock. And, at this point, I don't know if I'd necessarily, get too picky about what it was I was adding. I mean, I think the key thing is just to get some gold and silver. And like, for example, there is one here that's sold out on the first page. Last week, just about all of them were. And that's my point. I'm getting kind of long-winded here, but over the last month, the supply of gold and silver has just dried up. I've had a few people that couldn't find silver. In fact, I talked to one gentleman last week, and the place he did finally find it was charging $29 an ounce. And that's back when silver was $14 an ounce. So that's quite a premium if you start doing the math. I don't know if that's necessarily the kind of premium I'm wanting to pay for silver. I'm a little bit more picky as far as if and when I add to what we do. But my point is that you might think about, the gold and silver, and, you can start out small. My gentleman up in Minnesota that I work with, Ryan Long with National Gold Consultants, he came in for us last week, or it was the week before last, now that I think about it. We had one gentleman that had a couple $100,000 he wanted to put into silver, and I couldn't find it anywhere, and I called Ryan and, transferred the funds up there to him because he thought he could fill it, and sure enough, it took him 2 days, but he was able to find enough silver to fill that gentleman's request. So I do have a number of relationships, and some are better than others just because, like in Ryan's case, he is a wholesale company. So he sees some supply that others don't even see. You know, I mean, if they're retail and stuff, they're never going to see some of those things and stuff. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to get into some of the other things that I'm doing with this pandemic. And as some of you well know, I have a background pretty extensive in insurance. And one of the things I wanted to make sure that, you know, I guess I spent a moment just kind of sharing with you is that, with this pandemic going on, I now have a website set up where a person can go to this website. They can educate themselves on anything from life insurance to discounts on scholarships for their kids, and everything in between. And if they decide they want to buy some life insurance or they want to buy some disability income, they can do so right there on the website. In other words, they can go in, they can fill out their information. Let's just say it was for disability income, and then they could hit submit. The program will come up with the options, and they can choose which option they want to pursue, and then they can go right from there into an application and fill in the additional information to complete the application, hit submit, and usually within a matter of minutes, a couple, like 2 or 3, they'll have not only an answer back, but a policy that they can just download to their computer, or whatever they use in the cloud for storage and stuff. But this website, let me just kind of give you an idea of some of the things on this, just because one, I'm kind of proud of it because it does have some really neat things that people need. But it's got life insurance, and it's got a couple different policies on here. Let me just cover these real quick because they've got one that's traditional term, which is something that most people probably are familiar with, I would think. But then they've also got a guaranteed issue policy. And the guaranteed issue means just that. In other words, if you, if your health isn't the best and you're less than 80, you can get a policy with this company. And I won't mislead you. I mean, it's going to be more expensive than the same size policy if you were healthy. But the point is that it's there, it's guaranteed issue, and I've had a lot of people go in and acquire that policy just because, they wanted to maybe make sure that if something happened to them, their relatives would have something to take care of all their final expenses and all that kind of good stuff. Another one in there that they just recently added, there's a company in there that will do up to $500,000 of life insurance, non-med. In other words, you go in, just like I said before, fill in your information, get your quote, choose that particular company, and they can give you a quote up to $500,000. If you think the terms are right, complete the application, hit submit, and you'll have a policy within minutes. And I will tell you that this particular company is backed by one of the strongest insurance companies in our world. So I was really excited last week when I saw they had added that one. Illness. Critical illness insurance, otherwise known as critical illness, typically covers heart attack, cancer, stroke, or a dreaded disease. In an insurance product in which the insurer is contracted to typically make a lump sum cash payment to the insured if the policyholder is diagnosed with one of these specific illnesses on a predetermined list as part of the insurance policy. So you can get a critical illness policy. So there's 2 types, life insurance and critical illness. Disability. And by the way, one of the disability programs on this is guaranteed issue. But disability insurance is often called DI, or disability income insurance, or income protection, is a form of insurance that insures the beneficiary's earned income against the risk that a disability creates a barrier for a worker to complete the core functions of their work. For example, the worker may suffer from an inability to maintain composure in the case of psychological disorders or an injury, illness or condition that causes physical impairment or incapacity to work. It encompasses paid sick leave, short-term disability benefits, and long-term disability benefits. Statistics show that in the U.S., a disabling accident occurs on average once every second. In fact, nearly 18.5% of the Americans are currently living with a disability, and 1 out of 4 in the U.S. Workforce will suffer a disabling injury before retirement. So, if you, want to protect let's put it this way. If you're still employed and not having to file for unemployment and so forth, and you're kind of hearing something out there maybe that would make you be concerned if you're going to be employed, down the road, or you work in maybe the way I should say this is, if you work in a job that has some hazardous type activities, you might want to think about looking into this. I say that because on my way to the radio show this morning, I got on Scenic, and they've got West Scenic all tore up, and they're doing the repaving. I guess it's kind of like folks in Minnesota. There's 2 seasons. There's winter and road construction. But anyway, so let's go to accident. Accident. Let me see. Accidental death and dismemberment. In the event of an accidental death, this insurance will pay benefits in addition to any life insurance, but only up to a set amount total regardless of any other insurance held by the same insurer held by the client. This is called double indemnity coverage and is often available even when accidental death insurance is merely an add-on to a regular life insurance policy. Some of the covered accidents include traffic accidents, exposure, homicide, falls, heavy equipment accidents, and drowning. Accidental deaths are the 5th leading cause of death in the U.S. And it says here that fractional amounts of the policy can be paid out if the covered employee loses a bodily appendage or sight because of an accident. Additionally, accidental death and dismemberment generally pays benefits for the loss of limbs, fingers, toes, sight, and permanent paralysis. The types of injuries covered and the amount paid vary by insurer and package and are explicitly enumerated in the insurance policy. So we've already covered 4 of them. We've got life insurance as a part of this, critical illness is a part of this, disability income is a part of this, and accidental death and dismemberment. And we could probably stop there, but I've got several other ones that are available on this. So I'd like to cover them in the little bit of time we got left. For seniors, senior products. Most Medicare plans pay your doctors or hospitals, while our supplemental health insurance plans pay you, the insured. Things like illness, accidental injuries, and hospitalizations can create unexpected expenses that Medicare may not fully cover. You can use these policy benefits for in-home care, eyeglasses, or mortgage payments, etc. So for those of you that are not familiar with Medicare, Medicare usually covers like 80% of what you're dealing with. And then what a lot of people will do is they will get what is called a Medicare supplement policy. And there's different kinds of those. We can dedicate a whole show to those somewhere in the future. I don't want to get too far into the weeds with this one, but these Medicare supplement programs are out there, and some of them cover prescriptions, some of them cover everything that Medicare doesn't. I mean, there's a variety of ones, and it's up to somebody that you trust, an agent, to find the right fit. If you don't have somebody you work with, give me a shout. I'd be happy to help you. 417-755-0700. Now that's if you're doing Medicare, excuse me, A and B, and you want to do a Medicare supplement. There's a lot of people where somebody has thought maybe they should do Medicare C, which are the Advantage plans, and that is a whole different option. What I have found is that a lot of the Advantage plans you can get into and have little, if any, monthly premium as compared to the Medicare supplement plans, which will have a monthly premium, nominal, but there will be a premium in most cases. And so a lot of people like the Advantage plans because of that feature. You know, there's no monthly premium in most cases. Now, the trade-off is if you get down the road, let's say a year, and you do have something major happen, with the Medicare supplement plans, depending on which one you've chose, a lot of times, since you've been paying as you go, a little bit of a monthly premium, a lot of times they will pick up all or a good portion of what Medicare doesn't. Whereas sometimes the Advantage plans, you may have like a, gotta be out of pocket $6,000 or $6,500 or whatever the magic is. I mean, there's so many of them. It's hard to probably really cover this in a broad brush, so to speak. But I guess that's kind of the trade-off between the two strategies, and they both work. I mean, let's face it. If you're 65 or older, or getting close to 65, it's worth looking into and seeing which one probably best works for your situation. Packages. If you would like to purchase more than one product, you will only have to fill out one e-application for multiple products. And it says this is available with most products in most states. So in other words, so far in this little presentation, we've covered 5 different kinds of insurance: life insurance, critical illness, disability income, accidental death and dismemberment, and insurance for seniors to complement what they've got with Medicare. And with this packages feature, let's just say you needed all 5. I mean, just to be extreme in an example. All you do is fill out, one application, and it would work for all 5 of these to get the information to that company respectively and allow them to, if there's a decision necessary, make the decision and or go ahead and issue the policy. And believe it or not, there's more. But wait, there's more. I mean, I think you can see why I was excited to add this to what I do, because, in this day and age where we have to be socially, what are they calling that? Apart, social distancing. There we go. This is incredible because, I mean, literally you could be in the comfort of your own home, there in the the TV room watching TV on your couch, and you can go to your phone or your laptop, however you want to access this website. I'll give it to you here in a minute, the URL, and you can go in and not only educate yourself, like for example, if you don't know much about these, when you get to the site, go to the blog, and the blog has 15 or 16 different little educational videos in most cases that will go over what the program is and what to look for and what to be careful about and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you literally can get a quote. If you like the quote, go ahead and fill out the app, and if you get that done, hit submit, and literally within a matter of minutes have be fully insured in whatever category we're talking about. And I mean, that sounds like I'm trying to take advantage of the COVID-19 thing, and I'm not. I mean, I added this as this developed because of this social distancing. I mean, I've been able to work with a couple of my clients without this particular URL, just because they're familiar with how to scan an email or use DocuSign or some of these other technical tools we have now these days to really do business over the phone and over the internet and stuff. But some just don't have that ability, but yet they have a phone, a phone like this where they can access the internet. Anyway, before I ramble too much, I got 6 more. 6 more. Let's get into legacy protection. And legacy protection is kind of an interesting one. Think of an online version of a safe deposit box. Innovative Legacy Armor Security Services help you prepare your estate, encrypt the information you want protected, and store it safely in a secure digital vault until it is time to deliver it automatically to your beneficiaries. Included in the Legacy Armor platform are tools to help you organize your assets and a powerful artificial intelligence engine that will identify when it is time to deliver your information. So this company literally has logarithms that I guess scour all the different newspapers and so forth, and if they see that you've passed, and let's say you don't have somebody local that would be able to share that with distant relatives, if you've got it all loaded into this system, it will let them know, okay, Joe has passed and you need to call X and X estate attorney and so forth. So it's a wonderful program, and like I said, it's totally encrypted. The best I can say is I can't believe it. I mean, when I first saw it, I was amazed at how much benefit it could provide to somebody, especially if you're out on your own and maybe you don't have a spouse or something that would know where your important documents are. You okay?
Yep, I'm fine. I just dropped my phone. They couldn't see it. They probably heard it.
They probably heard it. I heard it. Okay, next, dental and vision. And this is one that's near and dear to my heart because I got to tell you, before my dad, well, let's go back even further. Before my mom and dad, my mom passed in 12, and my dad is now at the Missouri Veterans Home out in Mount Vernon. But their last 2 or 3 trips to the dentist, I talked to them later on that night or the next day or, dinner on the weekend or something, and it would come up and, it'd be like a $1,200 bill or a $1,500 bill, and I was like, what? And, I'd find out like my mom had 2 teeth pulled and had a $1,200 bill. And then they're not the only elderly folks that I have encountered this tendency with. And I don't know if it's just because elderly folks don't have dental insurance or what the reasoning is. I mean, there again, we can get into some of the supplements and the Advantage plans and so forth. But I got to tell you, this one right here, dental and vision plans. Vision, an annual eye exam is about much more than healthy vision. It can help identify the early signs of serious health conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure. We offer a vision plan that complements your health insurance plan. Our vision plan delivers savings on both eye examinations and eyewear. Dental. The dental plan provides a range of covered services that are designed to fit you and your family's specific needs and budget. Each plan complements your health insurance coverage and provides benefits for a range of preventative, diagnostic, and restorative services. So, dental and vision. And it could be on its own. It doesn't have to be linked to one of these other ones and so forth. So if you've got everything and you're just lacking one of those two, I would encourage you to go to my site and check it out because it could be just what you're looking for. Now, this is one that's kind of special. This one is, oops, let me go back here. This one is scholarship discounts. This is this outfit that I work with. They have a program unlike anybody else I know or work with, and that is they have a tuition reward program. And here's how it works. Let me read this to you real quick because this is unique. And I've got some folks that take full advantage of this and save a good portion of their child or grandchild's or great-grandchild's scholarships. Earn guaranteed scholarships up to 1 full year's tuition at more than 400 participating private colleges and universities through the Sage Scholars Tuition Rewards Program. Each tuition reward point you accumulate is equal to $1 guaranteed discount off tuition at any of our member colleges. The maximum scholarship varies by college, but currently it is over $50,000 at some institutions. Get started today, and you can enroll right here. It says enroll all of the children or grandchildren in your immediate and extended family and begin earning your tuition rewards. Click here to view a listing of the colleges. So if you go to this site, you can see which colleges are involved, and there's some good ones. I mean, there's a lot I've never heard of before, but because they're in states I've never gone to and stuff. But there's a few you'll recognize just here in Missouri and Northwest Arkansas and Kansas and Oklahoma and so forth if you're that far out from our our studios and so forth. But I got to tell you, here's how it works. Basically, it's based on premium dollars that you use with products that I offer through this program. And so, for example, let's say you went to that very first one, which was life insurance, and let's say that you needed $250,000 of life insurance, and your monthly premium was $100, okay? Basically, you'd be picking up 1,200 points, 100 a month, in this scholarship reward program, and then they've got a way of showing you what that equates to in tuition rewards if and when your child or grandchild or great-grandchild ends up going to college. So it's just a really neat program, and it's one of the main reasons I deal with this particular company. So scholarship discounts. Children's Whole Life. Now, I know there's a lot of folks that believe that it's not wise to insure a child, and I beg to differ. I think that one of the best reasons you want to insure a child is because they're insurable. And we never know what's going to happen around the bend, and so if someone became uninsurable. I'm going to go a little faster because I'm running out of time. Basically, give your children and grandchildren a meaningful gift that lasts a lifetime with the Children's Whole Life policy. And the child size premiums that never increase, coverage doubles automatically during age 18, guaranteed future insurability for your child, coverage available up to $50,000 for children 14 days old to 14 years old, an affordable way to help secure your child's financial future, life insurance coverage that protects and builds cash value. So, I mean, that is a neat thing, because let's say you've got a child and then at age 19, something happens and they're not insurable going forward. They would have this in place. ReliaShield. ReliaShield is an identity theft program. And I got to tell you, as you might imagine, with everybody being online right now because they can't leave their home, the threat of identity theft is, just astronomical. So you need to be careful, and this particular program has access to that. And then Guaranteed Life is a whole life insurance policy that enables you to get life insurance protection in your later years. And so we've got guaranteed whole life policies also. So to kind of wrap this up, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different categories: life insurance, critical illness, disability income, accidental death and dismemberment, senior care, packages, legacy protection, dental vision, scholarship discounts, children's whole life, identity theft, and in some cases guaranteed acceptance and long-term care. So if you're someone who's been thinking of any of those categories, and there's no obligation. I mean, you do not have to, you can get as far as you want in this, and until you hit submit on the application, you are okay. But let me do this. Let me just give you the website. It's insuremenow.com/agent/Tony. So once again, insuremenow.com/agent/Tony, and that will take you to the site, and you can, if nothing else, get educated on some of those, because I got to tell you, some of those videos are very, very informative and compelling. If nothing else, watch the one about life insurance. The actor they chose to do this is so darn good. Anyway, we're probably out of time.
Yeah.
Are we out?
Yep, we're out of time.
Okay. 417-755-0700. Everybody be well, be safe, stay home, follow the rules, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.
Bye, everybody.